everyone, my name is Tori, this is Novel Life, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really exciting vlog that when I asked in my February TBR if you guys wanted to see this, a lot of people said in the comments that yes, they wanted to see this. So this is the start of my Dark Academia reading vlog. I have been in such a huge Dark Academia mood. I don't know what it was. I read Serpentine Valentine by Gianna Darling back in January, and the vibes were vibing, okay? The vibes were vibing, everything was perfect. That is a sapphic Dark Academia revenge plot romance, and you guys know I'm a fan of Gianna Darling. She's one of my favorite authors of all time, and I think that she just did everything perfect in that book, that the vibes were vibing, the character development was great, the romance was really good and really intense, I will say. So I'm in my Dark Academia mood now. I'm in my Dark Academia mood, okay? Now, I have a couple of books on my TBR for this video. The first one is one that I actually started reading, so I want to kind of give you an update about, and that is Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. So this book has been on my TBR, no joke, for like a year now. I have heard people talk about it, people say it's great, it's amazing. Last year it went around a lot. I do know that Carrie Lake, I think, has a couple special editions of this book. Like there's a lot, but this book is almost 700 pages, and that is the one thing that really like had me return it to KO. It just had me returning it to KU, you know what I mean? That's just a lot of pages, okay? Supposedly this is a Dark Academia gothic romance. So two things that I've been loving have been Dark Academia, which is what this vlog is all about, and Gothic fantasy. Now, I did read One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, which is the Shepherd King duet by Rachel Gillig back in January, and that is a Gothic fantasy, and I loved that book. So I'm interested to see if we take both of those two subgenres, I guess you could say, put them together in a book, and see if this becomes one of my favorite books. Will it? I don't know. Now, I did start reading this last night, and I have the audiobook. So what I have been doing lately, especially in 2024, is listening to the audiobook and physically reading along. I have done that with countless books back in January. I talk about them in my wrap up a lot. Like I pinpoint which ones I did do that with. So I started this last night. I'm on chapter 10, so I'm 13% in. And it's interesting. This is I feel like the academia part hasn't kicked in. Is it dark? Absolutely. So our female character, you see that she lost her mom to this weird illness to where her mom kind of has gone downhill over the last couple of months. Her eyes have changed. She's very frail and all of these things. And then she finds out that her mom in the bathtub had like these worms coming out of her nose, and it was very intense. I don't like horror or grotesque things, and that was like giving me the creeps a little bit. But basically our female character, she gets a full ride scholarship to Dracadia University. It is on an island, and the prologue kind of opens up. I feel like it's in a historic time. It says the time, I didn't remember, but when like this boy is like, oh, you're stuck on this island now, when these people are like, we need to get off the island, and he's like, no, you're stuck here, all these weird things happen. So the vibes are creepy, I would say. Very creepy at the beginning. So waiting for the academia part, the Dark Academia part to kick in. But like I said, the weird kind of vibes are vibing right now. That's all I have to say. Now you see our main male character. Oh my god, how do you pronounce his name? Deverick, that's his name. You see that he is a professor at this Dracadia University. And he's basically a vigilante, where I'm pretty sure that he's the one who created this weird disease with the worms coming out of people, like, and that's how they die. Supposedly he takes bad people and he like tests it on them. So you see him within the first 10 chapters, he finds this guy who has abused his kids, one of them to the point where they died. He takes them, puts them in a cage, and basically feeds them feeds him alcohol, because he's an alcoholic, and in the alcohol it has these little eggs. Oh, it's so creepy just talking about it, like larvae, and he explains what's gonna happen to him, and now I guess we're gonna watch it play out. So I don't know. There's also a secret society that he's a part of, so there's a lot of things that are introduced right off the bat, like within these first 10 chapters, that I'm like, but where's the Dark Academia part? I'm assuming when she actually gets to the university, and I stopped when she's like getting on this fancy schmancy bus that takes her to Dracadia. So I'm very interested to see where it goes from there. That is my plan for today. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna continue reading this book. Yeah, I'm doing some filming, that's why it's like all my lights are on and stuff like that, but I did want to open up this vlog before I forgot because I did start that book. Now, another book that I want to read is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. So this is more of a YA dark academia book. It's published by Harper Teen, so it's like an imprint of HarperCollins, and our two main characters apparently go to this, is it a castle? Oh, it's a manor. And it's, you know, on the brink of crumbling. It's musty. It's a decrepit house. And one of the people that she goes with, it's these two characters. I'm assuming they might have a little bit of a love story. I'm not sure. But two characters go to see what her favorite author is all about. He thinks that, the main male character thinks that he's a fraud. The author's a fraud. She just thinks that he's her favorite author. So it's interesting, all of the secrets that they start to uncover in this book. This is a relatively short book. I don't have the audio, so I'm going to physically read it. It's like 300 pages. Almost 400 pages, so I'm excited for this one. I picked it up at Barnes & Noble just because I saw it and I love the cover. I'm trying not to get my lights in it. There we go. I just love all the little things in it, so that's another dark academia book that I have that I'm very excited. So I think how this is going to go is we're going to go from Nocticadia, which is a super dark gothic dark academia, like dark, apparently he's a very morally gray hero in that, to A Study in Drowning, which is more of a YA dark academia. And I have a arc of An Education of Malice by S.T. Gibson, which is a dark academia sapphic romance. Now, this book comes out February 13th. I'm very excited. I requested the audiobook on NetGalley, okay? I did not think I was going to get it, and NetGalley was like, sure, why not? We'll give you this audiobook. I am so stoked to dive into this book. I'm so ready. That'll be the book that I probably read throughout the week because I have an audio for that. Just because while I'm working, I can kind of pick up the audio, or while I'm cooking dinner and stuff like that. But I'm so excited for the wide range of books. I don't really know too much about An Education of Malice. I just know that S.T. Gibson wrote A Dowry in Blood, which I personally loved that book when I read it. It was so unique and so different. I was immediately drawn to it and I wanted to read it. So it's tagged as historical fiction, fantasy. Okay, so deep in the forgotten hills of Massachusetts stands St. Petunia's College. Isolated and ancient, it is not a place for timid girls. Here secrets are currency, ambition is lifeblood, and strange ceremonies welcome students into the fold. On her first day of class, Laura is thrust into an intense academic rivalry with the beautiful and enigmatic Carmilla. Together, they are drawn into the confidence of their demanding poetry professor, who holds her own dark obsession with Carmilla. It says, tangled in a sinister game of politics, bloodthirsty professors, and magic, Laura and Carmilla must decide how much they are willing to sacrifice in their ruthless pursuit of knowledge. I cannot wait for that. This was a very long introduction, but I literally cannot wait to dive into that audiobook. It's been a anticipated read for me since I found out that S.T. Gibson was releasing another book, because I love Dowry of Blood. So with that being said, I'm gonna go finish filming and then I'm gonna sit down and dive into more of Nocticadia. Welcome to a little update because I finished Nocticadia. Now, this book was very interesting. Listen, this book was interesting, but very long, okay? Like, did it need to be almost 700 pages? Absolutely not. But I will say that I'm giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. I thought that it was unique and interesting and honestly really unlike anything that I've read. So, like I said in the intro clip, this book really bridges the gothic vibes, like, with dark academia. So I would say the gothic is more like horror. So basically it's like there's times where it's like super creepy, where it's like slightly horror-y, like someone's following her in like a old school doctor's mask, like with the beak and stuff like that. I forgot what it's actually called. Like there's these secrets, there's, you know, they're always in this lab, there's corpses because they're trying to figure out, you know, like how certain toxins with this specimen, I should say, like the worms, affect people, and like all of these different like medical things. But then like they do have some moments where they're like in the library together, or like they're very studious, and all in all, like, it was a really good read. Was it very long? Yes. Did it take me like 4 or 5 days to read this book? Yes. Yes, it did. But I did enjoy it, and that's why I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think that I think that the first like 50% of the book was literally just explaining the world, explaining the characters, what each character's doing, what her professor's doing, what she's doing, what she wants to uncover, what he's trying to uncover, like little secrets and stuff like that, but also how the university works and this and that. Like, there were some twists and turns that I did not see coming, but there also were some twists and turns that I did see coming. So it was very interesting. It was a very unique book. I would say it's going on my like top unique books I've ever read, which is a good thing. Like, it's a good thing that it's unique. It's like, I can't even say like, oh, if you like this book, read this book, because I've never read anything very similarly to that. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's one of those books where like you like the atmosphere because you're like following these characters and figuring out what each of them are doing. I love Deverick. I think he is an amazing hero. Like, once the romance kicked in, like right after 50%, like, this is a slow burn book. Do not go into this book thinking like the romance is gonna like pop off right off the bat. No, that's not happening. But I loved him as a hero. I loved how he treated Lilia. I love how, you know, she kind of grew as her own person too. Like, she's been, for all of this time, you know, she's 20 or 21, I think. She's about to turn 21. That, you know, she's been taking care of her other people all of her life, and so for the first time, you know, she can start looking for things like just for her, which I love. I thought that was very, very cool. So I always love when there's like a little character development in it. So there was like all of these different layers that I really loved. Would I have liked to see more of them together? Yes, but the way that they both, specifically Deverick, feels so intensely for her, you kind of like, at first it might seem like, oh, it's insta love. It's not. Like, he, over the years, I just, the way that he is, it makes sense. You have to read the book to really understand what I mean by that. So all in all, it was a 4-star, and I'm not mad at that 4-star. Like, of course I'm like, oh, I wish it could have been a 5-star that I can say it's like super amazing and super this and super that, and it's like favorite of all time. But sometimes 4 stars are also really, really good too, that I would still recommend. Like, I would highly recommend this book. It's just so unique, especially if you're looking for something that bridges like horror and that gothic style feel with this dark academia, with dark romance, because it's all of those things. Like, I can put certain scenes into each category, which is why I think it's so unique that she blended like basically 4 different like sub genres together in a way that's like, it's just so unique. It's so, I keep saying that, but it's like so unique. Was I creeped out a little bit? Kind of. There were certain parts where I was like, oh, like, just, I don't do horror. Like, there's certain parts where I was like, I could do without the horror part. But I think if you're looking for a book that kind of bridges all those, definitely check it out. Now, I am about to get into a meeting, but I wanted to tell you that I'm going to start the audiobook for An Education in Malice today by S.T. Gibson. I'm so excited that I got the NetGalley ARC. I do not read dark academia books at the same time, so I'm gonna start that one, and then I'll start my physical book like in a day or two, and that'll be the last. A Study in Drowning will be the last one I read. It's not very long, so I don't see that it's gonna take me very long, but I'm so excited to dive into the audiobook. And yeah, I gotta run to this meeting. But yeah, that was my little update. I'm so excited, and I'll go ahead and talk to you guys later. Okay, so I don't know if honestly anyone cares, but I wanted to show you because I got this huge package from e.l.f. I ordered a bunch of stuff because I like to like stock up on some of like just the basic stuff that I use for makeup. Okay, I think that's it. So I got some new stuff and stuff that I've never used before. So I love these powder puffs. Honestly, I absolutely love these powder puffs, and mine is just like old, and you don't really wash them. Yeah, I don't think you wash these, so I wanted this. I got this, which is this setting powder, just to try it, because I like to have different setting powders. I got this face primer because I use this sometimes if I'm wearing like just natural makeup or just like some concealer to fill in my pores. And of course, I really like this one. I've been using this quite often, and I love this primer. I think it works amazingly. I got, oh, I have a cat hair all over my bed. The life with the cat. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I use shade Fair Rose. I like having this. this is what I really wanted to order. So this is Pout Clout Lip Plumping Pen. And I'm not going to put this on now because my lips are actually like super chapped. So I don't want to put on anything that's going to like irritate it. But I like this color. I have pinkies out. I've been seeing this on TikTok and it got me. I was like, okay, let me go to the e.l.f. store online and order some. But apparently it's like super, makes your lips look glossy, big, all of the above, right? And then I got some minis, I guess, with my order. So here, I'll show you this first. Oh, what is this? I actually had to like open up the whole package. So this is a new foundation. So I wanted something that was kind of light to medium coverage because the ones I have are pretty heavy coverage. And like if I'm just wearing it just around the house, not like really for filming or if I'm like running errands, I don't like to wear super heavy stuff. So I'm gonna try this one out. It's matte, or it's a satin finish, so shiny, a little dewy. And then I have this one. I've used this one previously. I like it because it has a little bit of sunscreen, but this is full coverage with natural finish. So yeah, I just like having this. But I guess like if you spent X amount of money, I think it was like $35, you got like some minis for free, I guess. I don't know. So this was not a mini. This is like a full size. Like this is now going to be my travel one because my other one is the blue one, but I can't open this. I was trying to open it. But this is like brightening putty primer. I'm going to try this and see because it has some vitamin C in it. And then this is just like a toner because I use this toner like every day, but I thought this would be cool to travel with because it's like a perfect like mini. Look how tiny that is. Anyway, that's all the random e.l.f. stuff I got. Just wanted to show you just because I like stocking up on the basics that I have. Hello, how are you? I have a little bit of an update for you. First thing I want to say is I showed you all the e.l.f. makeup I got, okay? And the one thing I wanted to get is this new Pout Clout thing from e.l.f. So you just like click it right here. I want to click it and it like pushes this up and it like tingles. Like it's a lip gloss, lip balm. And it's like this really pretty pinky color. Hi, puppy. I didn't put a lot on because I'm about to take a shower, but I wore this out to dinner and I wore it all day today. Like it's like not overpowering tingly, which I particularly like. So that's one of the new things I used. And then everything else was just like stuff I used. And I will say that I used this mist today. This one's finer than the blue one that I have. So I like that. I like the way it feels better, but I might get more of those Pout Clout things because I really like the way that they make my lips feel. Still hydrating, but glossy. And I feel like, I don't know, I just really like them. Anyway, it's been a day since I finished An Education in Malice, okay? I finished this last night at like 11 o'clock, I think it was 10:30, 11. And I sat with my thoughts a little bit today because I feel conflicted. I feel like I wanted to like this way more than I did. And honestly, maybe that's because when I went into A Dowry of Blood, I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know anything about this author. I didn't know what she was gonna write, how she was gonna write, anything like that, right? So when I went in, I didn't have any expectations. But with this one, people kept saying it's sapphic, people kept saying it's like vampires. And I would say it's not necessarily like a super heavy in the romance. Like they're kind of basically is an HEA. I don't know. There's not really heavy vampire. It was just not the way that it was going. And I was like, okay, but is that what is affecting my rating? So I decided to rate it 3 stars, 3.5. That's my final rating. I think that's fair because I don't know. I just feel like there was something missing from this book. And I don't know if it was me. I don't know if I'm reading too many dark academia books. I don't know if I'm reading too many sapphic romances. I don't know. Like, I just read Gianna's Dark Academia Sapphic Romance. I've read Nocticadia, and I really like that one as well. So I don't know. I don't know if it's I like her writing. I also don't know if it's the audiobook. I listened to the audiobook, and I never have listened to an S.T. Gibson's audiobook. So if you guys have read it once this comes out, then you can tell, like once this book comes out and you read it, maybe you can tell me if I need to reread it. Maybe that's what I need to do for this book. I don't know. I just feel like I missed something, honestly. Like there were parts where like it was dark academia-esque. Like it takes place at this college, but like one of the professors has like a kind of a relationship with one of the female characters, Camilla, and you know, she is like feeding off of her, like that's how she gets blood and all this stuff like that, which is like didn't really freak me out as much. But then there was this weird thing with our other female character where she was also in the mix, and like someone got hurt and taken, and it definitely had some Dowry of Blood crossover, and I really feel like I should have reread that book before going in to this book. So yeah, I don't want to say anything else because I feel like it could be potentially a spoiler what happens, but it kind of just like the pacing was very like jagged. It was like, let's go this way and then this way with the story, and this way we're going to take this turn, instead of like it being like a nice up and down. It was very jagged and harsh with the way that the plot was told. So unfortunately that wasn't my favorite, but I have high hopes for this one, which I'm going to start tonight. I'm very excited. Some of my favorite authors have blurbed this book. So Rachel Griffin, both Haunting and Tender, This Story Will Settle in Your Bones, Allison Saft, which I'm reading A Fragile Enchantment Now, which she wrote. So I'm very, very excited. A Love Letter to Stories and to Everyone Silenced or Forgotten in Their Retellings. And then Alex E. Aro said, a study in drowning is everything. A dark fairy tale, a tender romance, a haunting historical mystery, and a quietly furious tribute to people whose stories have been stolen from them. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I have really high hopes. This is YA. I don't expect the romance to be super heavy at all. I really think this is more of just a YA dark academia book, which is fine. I went from like a super dark romance dark academia to a sapphic kind of fantastical element one, more on the romance, supposedly on the romance side. So this is YA. I wanted to read a couple of different ones from like different subgenres. So I'm gonna read this one tonight. I love this cover actually. I really like this cover. Like this is the vibes that I want. This is the vibes that I want. So I'm gonna take a shower, lay down for the night, have a wild Friday night in. I hope to finish this by tomorrow night, or Sunday, at least by Sunday, so I can update you guys. But I'm gonna start this and I will talk to you guys later. Hi, hello. I am here to give you my very last update for this Dark Academia reading vlog. I finished A Study in Drowning last night by Ava Reed, and honestly, I'm giving this book 4 stars. For the longest time while I was reading this book, I was like, I really honestly think this book is gonna be like a 3.5 star. I was like, 3.5 star. It's slow. I get it. I like the writing. It's very fluffy and flowery, like a dark academia book, like the vibes that it gives me. And I like the mystery. I like the little fairy tale aspect. Like I liked a lot of things about it, but there was nothing like really like latching me onto the book other than this like mystery that they're trying to figure out. But the last 75 pages, 100 to 75 pages, things really started coming together. And some things took me by surprise. Some of them I was like, oh, okay. Some of it I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is where we're going with it. I get it. I got it. Okay, cool. And some of it was like, oh, I kind of guessed that in my head. I was actually only going to read to page 200 last night. And I was reading and I was like, you know what? I only have 175 pages left. Let me just keep on reading. And I could not stop reading it because I wanted to know what happened. So I would say this is like not as dark as obviously like Dr. Katie or anything like that, obviously, but I did enjoy this book for like a YA dark academia book. The romance was super sweet. I really enjoyed it. The only thing like I wish we got more of is like she kind of created this whole world with like where people are from and like, oh, they're this type of person, like they come, like they speak a different language, like they're this, I would equate that to like an ethnicity, like they're this and I'm this, and like people look down upon them if they're this versus that. And I just wish we got more explanation. Like I don't know how she would have explained it in this book per se, but I feel like she like created this like world, and I don't know if she's ever gonna write in it again. But for like picking it up on a whim, giving me all the vibes, the creepy, the mystery, the dark academia vibes. Like, the vibes are vibing with this book. The vibes were vibing, and I really enjoyed this book. So I'm giving it 4 stars, and I would say that this vlog was a success. I really wanted to love An Education in Malice more, but I didn't. Now, if you guys have any dark academia books for me to read, like some recommendations, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know. Honestly, I would love to know, just because I want to read more. Maybe not right now because I read like 3 in a row, but I like the vibes of it. I especially like anything that crosses over with like gothic and dark academia. So I do have a Starling House, which I think it leans more towards like gothic and horror than dark academia. So I do want to read that. It's on my February TBR. But if you have any more for me, please let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to know. But that is all I have for this vlog. For the emoji, drop me a black heart emoji, a skull emoji, drop me anything like that. What's on the cover of this book? A typewriter? I don't even think there's a typewriter. Or drop me like a water emoji, because the drowning is something that's talked about a lot. But that's all I have for this reading vlog. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content from me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.